nothing like a little coffee jazz for a coffee with Cass. Good morning, everyone. It is me, and as promised, here we are, episode. It's the first one of this series. This video is not brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts, although it is the coffee I have. And hey, Dunkin', how much of my money do I have to throw at you before you give me free coffee and sponsor me? I guess if I had an actual tangible audience, that would be an easier case, but we're not there yet. Good morning. We're here. We're doing it. There's a dog itching himself in bed. I was hoping that my two little furries would be quiet while I do this, but alas, that is not possible. Also, fun fact, there's a woman. I don't know her name. I've kind of seen her a couple times, but she comes through my neighborhood every weekend selling tamales and avocados, and she just yells so loudly for like 2 hours, just going up and down the street I live on. And it's just probably the worst thing about this neighborhood because it could be much worse. I used to live downtown in a studio, and that place was, to put it nicely, a shithole. And basically, every day when I would come home from work, without fail, there would be someone either passed out drunk next to my building or just pissing in the alley because, you know, if you have external genitalia, why not just piss wherever you want? It was disgusting, and I didn't have parking, and it was actually not too much less than I'm paying now. And there were no real other amenities. The laundry machines there were disgusting, and it was a studio. And the best part about it was my bathroom was completely remodeled by the person who lived there before me. But other than that, there were no perks to that apartment. So, long story long, I moved. I live in the valley now, and I love it because I have a pool, I have a parking spot, and no one is pissing in my alleys every day when I get home. So that's always good. But yeah, here we are, and I'm not sure exactly the direction I want to go with this. I think I bounce back and forth a lot with the things that I want to talk about, and this week, I don't know why I'm struggling so hard to come up with an actual singular story, but I wanted to talk about bad dates I've been on, because I've been on so many bad dates, and that's not to say that I'm like out dating all the time, but when I used to go on semi-regular dates, it was always with different people, and it never turned out. The one that I'm thinking of that keeps sticking out but isn't really a good story, it's just kind of sad, is enough for me, but it's about this guy who I met, and we went on one date to one of my favorite bars in the area, and he was just really like aggressive and wanted me to sleep with him, and then I didn't, and so I kept dodging him, and then I got busy because I was working a lot at the time after said singular date, and he texted me and was like, you know, if you don't like me, you can just say. And I was like, you know, but I'll get into, that's really just a story for another time. But anyway, can't think of any like funny bad dates that I've been on, and I don't know why. Maybe I'm just too close to it and I need to just go back through, because I literally have a folder on my laptop of screenshots that I had taken from when I was doing a lot of online dating, and I wanted to make videos of me just reading them, and I had recorded one. But here's another fun fact about me. I have an HP laptop, and literally everyone in my life since college has been MacBook all the way. And so whenever I try to edit these videos, the software that's on my laptop is not the best, and I haven't ever paid for, like, when I was in college, I used Final Cut X and like all these more advanced softwares, but they were on the school computers, and so now that I have my own computer, I don't have Final Cut, even Final Cut 7, which I know a lot of people are really big fans of. And so now I'm transitioning into getting a MacBook, which means I'll at least have iMovie, which isn't the best software, but compared to the, I think it's called Power Director that's on my current computer, it is going to be far and away better, and I'll be able to turn out stuff a lot more quickly. But that's what the whole situation with that is. And so in this folder, I have a plethora of random first messages, but the things that aren't in there are the conversations that actually led to something along the lines of like meeting in person. But I don't know, maybe I just need to like wait and it'll come to me. I'm sure immediately after I stop recording this video, I will think of something that has happened. But I think it's not really funny, it's just a story, I guess, about a date I went on was quite a while ago. I met this guy, I think it had to have been Tinder or Bumble, because there was a time in my life where I was very much into dating apps in LA, because I thought, you know what, maybe I could actually meet a person. And the truth of that is, you do meet people, they're just shitty, because dating in LA is shitty. And I know that's very much a generalization, but if you've lived out here, you know what I'm talking about. It's just, people are not interested unless you can benefit their career in any way, and I am someone who has only lived here for like 3 years now, and I'm not benefiting anybody's career. I'm just doing my own thing and trying to get by, so I guess maybe that's why I'm not super successful, because I don't know like a lot of celebrities in this town. I met quite a few YouTubers, but that, like a lot of other people don't really count that, but I count that because they're still people, they still create content, and I still enjoy them. Anyway. So this guy, we meet and we agreed to go on a date. We set a time for, I think originally we were supposed to meet up at either 5:30 or 6, and I was running late, so I texted him, I think through the app, and I was like, hey, just wanted to let you know I'm running late, because that's what courteous people do, and I take a long time to get ready. Not today, obviously, because I'm just in my natural state, and the only reason my hair looks decent is because it's from yesterday. And the reason it looked good yesterday is because it was carryover from the day before. So long story long, I'm disgusting, I need to wash my hair. Anyway, so we meet, so we're supposed to meet at 5:30. I told him I was gonna be late. He's like, oh, can we make it 6:45? I'm like, okay, dude, but I'm coming from like downtown to Santa Monica, which is essentially 30 or so. It's a long drive, and especially with traffic, it takes like an hour to get there. So this guy is like, okay, we'll meet then. And so I get there at 6:30, and I'm like waiting because we agreed to meet at an intersection, which I guess I didn't know at the time was like right by where he works, was at like an Audi dealership or whatever. But anyway, so we meet up, or we're supposed to, and I'm waiting in my car looking at this intersection, and I just see random people coming by. And I had stopped at Bay City's Deli to get some stuffed grape leaves, because I was like, well, I don't really feel like this guy is going to take me anywhere to eat, and I'm hungry, so I better have this before I have to go somewhere. And so then I'm like waiting at 6:45, and I was like, you know what, I've already been irritated by this guy being late, and now he's just not showing up, so I'm just gonna go to the Cheesecake Factory. So I texted him and said, I'll be at Cheesecake Factory, you can meet me there if you want. He's like, oh, well, I'm at my apartment now, it's like 2 blocks away, do you want to just meet me there? And I was like, well, I already moved my car from where I was parked, so just give me a few minutes. So we finally meet up, and then we walk to this bar that's like a block or so away, and the first red flag was that he just seemed very like aloof, I guess. Like he just, I don't know, he wasn't really saying much of anything, and I'm very much like this when I meet people. Like I'll just talk to pretty much anyone. Like I can get along with generally anyone, or at the very least I'll say hello and be a decent human being. I'm also realizing that I'm not drinking my coffee and it's bothering me. I need the caffeine to survive. Anyway, so we go to this bar, and the first thing that he did that I was like, this guy's not like my kind of people, is he was like mad at the bartender for not coming up to him right away. And now here's something that I feel like other people don't understand as well. As someone who's worked as a bartender, not every time a new person comes in are you going to be able to just go immediately to them. If you greet them, that is sometimes the best you can do in that moment. Because if you have like 8 or 10 other drinks to make, you're obviously not gonna like stop everything you're doing and just go to this one person just because they just showed up. You know, if you say hello and acknowledge them, then I feel like that's enough, you know, because I've been in that position. I know it's not easy to just drop everything you're doing and get someone's brand new order. So the bar is full, and he goes up and he's just like, oh, like, what do we have to do to get some service around here? And the bartender had already said hello to him and said, I'll be with you in a second. He was like irritated that it was taking too long, and then he kept pulling out his phone and like texting or like whatever. And so I'm like, okay, like, I'm obviously not important enough for this dude to just like shut out whatever's so important in his life. So then we go into this like side room, because it was like a patio bar basically, and we're sitting there talking, and he was just like very superficial, and then we were having a conversation, and then he took a phone call in the middle of our conversation. I have no idea what it was about. It was like, I think it was a car salesman, so it had like something to do with like insurance or something stupid that I didn't care about. And so then he's like talking to me, and then he just stops and he's like, so the lipstick, what's with that? Because I was wearing dark lipstick, and I'm like, is that a serious question? Like, I just wear this because it's my preference. And he was like, oh, I just didn't get it. I'm like, sorry, you don't understand what dark and vampy makeup is, jackass. So, long story short, that's how I met my husband. Just kidding. Would not. 10 out of 10 would not recommend that guy, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. Definitely glad that just was the end of it, and he was like, we should do this again sometime. I was like, sure. And luckily he didn't understand sarcasm, so that was the end of that. But yeah, I'm sorry I keep saying but yeah, and anyway, but that's just who I am as a person, I guess. So the plan, to completely have no transition, the plan moving forward, I think next week, what I would like to do, because right now I'm in a place where I'm struggling to come up with a topic or something, I'm going to do, or at least I would like to do, a Q&A. So if anyone has any questions, I will answer any question you have. And I mean that because there's only 42 of you, and only about 5 of you watched my video last week, which means I could probably get one question out of you. But I'm gonna keep doing this. I think I just need to kind of get my feet on the ground, because as a lot of people who are in the YouTube community have told me, the hardest part is just starting. So once you get started, you can kind of figure out what works for you, what doesn't work for you, what you want to do, and kind of move forward from there. So I think now that I have at least started and have somewhat of an idea of what I want to do, I can move forward from here. Now, I understand this video is much longer than the last one, but that's because this is where I would like to get to, is to have maybe somewhere between like 10 to 15 minutes every Saturday just to kind of check in with you guys, let you know what's going on with me. This week in particular was an interesting one, to say the least. Some stuff happened on Monday of this week, but has since been taken care of, and I just had a lot of things happen this week in my personal life, and also in my professional life that has led me to, again, be reminded of how grateful I am to have such a support system of my family and friends that were all there for me to deal with everything that was going on. It's nothing dramatic, it's just, you know, so, this is what I will say. Sometimes people suck. Thank you, goodbye. Just kidding. But, you know, sometimes I know that I'm not for everyone, and everyone is not for me, as the great Queen Megan Tonjes has said. Hello, Mama, I love you. And that's fine. But just know that whatever, this is gonna get very cheesy very quickly, but it's St. Patrick's Day and it's fine. Just be yourself, you know, be happy with where you're at, and things are gonna come at you that aren't necessarily the easiest to deal with, but as long as you're doing everything you can to keep it from being an issue for other people, then I think it'll be fine. That probably didn't make any sense because it's completely out of context. You guys have no idea what I'm talking about, but just know that no matter what, I am always going to do my best to be myself, to be as transparent with you guys as possible, but also I don't want to put myself in a position where I am risking my job, and so that's why this was the most vague description of anything that could possibly have happened. But Yeah, I think that's where I'll go ahead and wrap this up. We're at about 15 minutes and I spent way too much time rambling about someone that's not even in my life anymore, so it doesn't matter. But next week, if you would like me to do a questions video or a questions segment on this series, please let me know. Ask a question. I promise to answer literally anything. Might not be the the answer you're looking for, but I can offer some sarcasm and wit if that's what you'd like. And who knows, maybe next week I'll put on makeup or actually wash my hair beforehand. But thank you guys for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts and everything. And I'll see you next Saturday. Bye guys.